Welcome to John Torelli Bodybuilding. This video is about general nutrition. My name is John Torelli and thank you for watching. To help support the making of this channel and to also gain access to exclusive seminars, videos and private discussion groups, please visit patreon.com/John Torelli or johntorelli.com. The nutrition you should be following that I suggest when you're building chest is, number one, keep in mind protein is the building block. Okay, we also need carbohydrates and fats. Now, depending on what your goal is, then we need to find out what that goal is in order to prescribe the right amount of protein, the right amount of carbohydrates, the right amount of fats. If you're after size, we need plenty of protein, a corresponding amount of carbohydrate, and the right amount of fats. If you're wanting to define the chest, then we would need to question the amount of carbohydrate that we're having. If you lessen your carbohydrate intake, the chest will lose fullness. However, it may actually end up looking bigger because all the separation and the fine lines and the feathered-like striations in the chest will always be more prominent. Then, if you want to sustain the energy levels, we need to see how much fat is in your diet, because carbohydrates have a tendency of giving you short-term energy, but fat is the body's preferred source of energy because it is slower to absorb, longer to give you the energy, so it gives you energy over a longer period of time. And then instead of dropping to low energy levels from, which you could experience if you don't time your carbohydrates correctly, the fats will give you a slow decrease in energy levels, so you'll actually be able to figure out when you should be eating next. All these nutritional tips help the development of the chest because there's certain things that muscle groups need in order to grow. Number one is, are you contracting the muscle? So, that in itself is probably the most important thing, more important than using heavy weights. Okay, so when I talk about protein, we're talking about eggs, red meat, turkey, chicken, fish, yogurt, milk, protein powders. When I talk about carbohydrates, I'm talking about breads, cereals, potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, and even leafy green vegetables. When I talk about fats, these are naturally occurring in the food. So beef has a good amount of fat in it already, so do eggs. And then it goes lower down the chain, so chicken will have less fat than, say, red meat, and fish will have less fat than chicken, okay? So they're your protein sources. The carbohydrate sources, they should be taken in various quantities, and they should be the ones that I've just mentioned, depending on your goals. Fats are naturally occurring, but sometimes we load fats into the diet by having things like extra olive oil. For me, I use friendly fats like sweet almond oil and macadamia nut oil, which I have in the morning, and I mix those two together and they actually taste delicious. They're great with my eggs. Pretty much anybody can eat this way unless you have some sort of a problem with any of these foods, and then it's very easy to change, mix and match. If you can't eat red meat, surely you can have chicken, and if you can't eat chicken, there's turkey. And sometimes I myself never want to eat anything other than fish or eggs as protein sources, but that could happen for a short period of time. Like, I've just put red meat back in my diet. Before that, I hadn't had red meat for 3 years. There's always something for somebody, and if you're vegetarian or vegan, what you must remember is that your protein sources are going to be coming from things that already contain carbohydrates. So if you want to avoid, or you need a lower carbohydrate meal or foods, you'll need to look at the nutritional index of all the foods to make sure that the protein foods that you believe will help you as a vegan also have the correct amount of carbohydrates to help you with your corresponding goals. This food and the time that you should be having it is different from everybody. Everybody's different. Some people actually like going to the gym on an empty stomach and training that way. And what they're doing is they're probably utilizing energy levels from the food that they had the night before. So again, depending on your goals is the time of day that you eat these foods. Now, generally, the infusion of protein, carbohydrates and fats should happen every 2.5 to 3 hours. But sometimes, in order to make the food absorb better, I'd like to think that you could go possibly even a day without food or extend the time between meals just to allow for gastric emptying. So then when the next lot of food comes in, it's actually not going to putrefy, you're going to be able to digest it better. Now, these tricks can get a little bit technical. I'm not a believer in any one technique, but actually a master of knowing when to apply each technique. Please, again, it's very important for you to give me your reactions towards what I say and towards these foods and also the diets that I recommend, because as you can see, not knowing what your exact goals are, I'm blanket covering. There's nothing that's actually targeted. I would like to do that, so in order to get the best possible advice from me, please write in and let me know your experiences. If you liked it, share it. And thank you very much for watching.